Welcome to my channel, and now we're telling about update. I 27th. I'm 8 months pregnant and my 28M wants to live the one life. Let's talk about it more. I talked to him about how living in a van was unpractical with a newborn, and he reluctantly agreed. I told him we could try it out once the baby got older, but only for holidays. This made him happy, and he seems to have forgotten about this hippie one life idea now. He agreed to therapy and will also do marriage counseling, something I think we'll need for sure when the baby comes. He still didn't apologize for blocking the door or making me cry, but oh well. It's compromise. I checked his YouTube history and he had indeed been watching a day in a life of a van videos. Lol. Thanks for advice, guys. TLDR, my husband wanted to live the van life with a newborn, but I thought it was ridiculous, so we compromised on trying it out on holidays when our baby gets older. My husband was a bit like this when I was pregnant with my first. I did a lot of head nodding and sure. Once the baby comes, he will realize how practical it all is. I had many conversations about rear-facing car seats in vans. I had a lot of ideas about taking the kids to festivals and all this other cool stuff when they come along, in reality it's all that stuff just becomes exhausting. Reminds me of the decent quote, everybody has a plan until they get punched in a mouth. The corollary for kids being, everybody knows exactly what life with a kid will be like until they have a kid. I'm 63 feminine and child free. Why? Because at 60 I was mom for the summer to a newborn and 2 toddler boys. Their dad worked full-time and mom had a really difficult childbirth that kept her in a hospital for 3 months. Those 3 months totally killed my desire to ever have children, and I have nothing but respect for those who bravely procreate. I worked at a middle school summer camp where we weren't justified. The one afternoon my friend and I had off, we looked ourselves in an empty cabin and slept. She called that week the world's best birth control. Yeah, and now lots of people essentially had to raise their younger siblings due to busy or shithead parents. So lots of people do know what they are getting into with having kids despite lack of experience. I'd agree to some, but I don't think lots of is accurate. In any case, my anecdotal evidence is my own experience, and the experiences I have seen in those others who have had plenty of advice to share when they were without kids, but were quickly humbled when they were in the thick of managing their own family, rather than backseat parenting others. Some, when we're talking about a sample size of hundreds of millions of people, is lots. It actually used to be much more common than today. It's still pretty common among poorer people. Some also, if they raised their younger siblings, they would have experience. And a lot of us who did know for certain we don't want kids. I already raised 4 of someone else's. I really don't want to do that again. The corollary to that is sparing with protective gear on not exactly the same as getting punched in the mouth, but certainly helps in making and keeping a plan when it does happen. You don't even need to have experience to know that kids are a shit ton of work. I don't think it's accurate to assume that everyone who imagines a life with kids doesn't realize. It's hard unless they've experienced it firsthand. I and plenty of child-free people are fully aware of how drastically difficult and consuming raising children is. Not everyone is deluded about it being sunshine and rainbows. It's not necessarily that people without kids believe it's all sunshine and rainbows. A lot do, but a lot definitely are aware it's a lot of work. It's practically impossible to know exactly how difficult it is without experiencing it. For example, med school, I'm sure is extremely difficult, however, having never been to med school, I don't actually know how hard it truly is. I think there is a discrepancy in what the word now means to different people in a context. I believe that my mind allows me to know how difficult something is without experiencing it. Of course, I will never feel how difficult it is, however, which is what I think many people consider now to be defined by. For example, I know the coronavirus exists without having experienced COVID and without having actually seen the virus through a microscope firsthand. I'm one of those. I'm the eldest, and due to my mom's illness, I had to help a lot with raising my brothers and sisters. For a long time, I thought I didn't want children because I knew how hard and stressful it was. I'm over 30, but now I do feel like wanting children. The change in mind surprised me, to be honest. Even still, every child is different. It reminds me of Haley and Jeff from American Dad. He is going to be in for a rude awakening when that newborn comes, but just how you describe his behavior in your post, I bet he will dump as much of the work off on you as he can. I have 5 kids ranging from 5 years old to 22 years, so trust me that living in a car with a newborn would be an absolute nightmare as well as just plain irresponsible. Can you imagine a screaming newborn and you are all trying to sleep in the same van? It sounds like he lost all ability to see reason. Yes, I have done trips with young children. No way in hell I would live in a van with a small child. Thank you for attending and watching my videos, and please don't be afraid to describe me and follow me. Bye bye.